Evening and welcome to this Thursday night edition of For FSU Weather. It's January 21st and I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
And I'm student meteorologist Margaret Hollis.
And we had a gray, wet day out there today, didn't we?
Yeah, drizzling on and off all day. I had to run back up to my room to get my umbrella when I walked out and found it raining.
Yep, absolutely. It was a dreary one to start with the ground being saturated when everyone headed out this morning. Fortunately, that clued most people in, that and the gray skies above our heads, that umbrellas would be the accessory of greatest value today.
Yeah, it's hard to predict exactly when you'd need it, but having it around was definitely a good idea.
Absolutely, and it warmed up a little bit. I would say a warm raincoat was also a value today, considering how cool it was.
Yeah, I had a sweater and a windbreaker combo to make sure that I stayed warm and kept the wind off, because even when it wasn't raining, it was still windy.
Absolutely necessary, and over the next few days, you're going to find that the umbrella and the raincoat are going to be your best friends tomorrow, and then heavy jackets to follow.
Yeah, rain boots tomorrow as well. Wet shoes are no fun.
Absolutely, especially when you're going to your morning classes, because we're expecting some heavy rain in the morning tomorrow, which you'll want to be prepared for your morning commutes. And now we're going to throw it out to the wall for a quick overview of tonight's program. We're going to start with a look at the radar out there. Across the whole southeast, you can see that we've got light rain moving into the Tallahassee region right now, and it's pretty much tapering off right now, though, like we were just saying, keep those umbrellas handy, because this stronger storm way out here in Mississippi, that's the most important one that we're watching here right now, because it is getting strong out there. We're talking a slight chance of severe weather as we move into the early morning hours tomorrow, but let's zoom in on our local radar, focus on what's happening now. Spotty rain moving across the region, so as the sun sets out there, be sure to keep your headlights on and your umbrellas handy. Tonight we're going to cool down to a low of 53 degrees. We've got a 70% chance of rain overnight, so once again, keep those umbrellas around. And here's your weather headlines for tonight. We've got rain in the forecast. That's our big story tonight. Colder temperatures to follow once we get past the rain. And then early next week when we get back to class, it'll be warming up again.
I'm looking forward to the cooler temperatures, but then also getting the warmth. I was like, this is what winter's supposed to be.
Yep, a mixture of rain and cold. But winter historically, of course, has lots of snow, and 1985 was no exception. In Buffalo, New York, there were 3 days of heavy snow that accumulated drifts of over 3 feet.
Growing up in Florida, I can't even imagine how much snow that is.
Yeah, I'm from North Alabama. I can't imagine it either, but the folks up in the Northeast aren't going to have to imagine it. It's coming their way right now, and we're going to have more on that upcoming blizzard event later in the show with Alyssa. But we also wanted to talk about how in 1985, President Ronald Reagan was sworn in for his second term in the coldest inauguration ceremony on record.
I feel sorry for everyone that was standing out in the cold if they weren't expecting it to be as cold as it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm starting to wonder why they swear in the presidents in January. It's just asking for it to be a chilly event. But now we're going to bring it back home for the local with Andres.
Thank you very much. Well, today's almanac for today, the high was 60 degrees, the average is 64, so we're a little bit below that, and the record was 80. We got nowhere near that. That was set back in 1929. Thank goodness, because it's wintertime, so me personally, I expect it to feel like wintertime. But currently right now, it's 60 degrees, mostly cloudy. Dew point's at 56 degrees. It's getting a little bit higher with this system that's coming our way. It's bringing some of that little bit of moisture from the Gulf along with it. The humidity is sitting at 86%, and the winds are out of the east at 6 miles per hour. But if we look across the Big Bend region, you can see that winds are fairly uniform. It's 58 here in Tallahassee, 57 in Monticello, 62 in Apalachicola. There's not much of a difference, but as we do get closer to the water, obviously the temperatures are not going to change much for obvious reasons that the water prevents that from happening as much. But zooming out into the southeast a little bit here, we see this cold front that's coming our way. This low pressure system along with that cold front's coming our way. And it's going to bring some severe weather tomorrow morning. So please be careful tomorrow morning whenever you're getting ready on the drive to go to work, because we are going to have some storms around. So pay attention, stay tuned to the radio. But for the most part, for us in Florida, we can see just in the central part of the state, there's some clouds that are moving through. but nothing much really in the form of precipitation for them. Most of that has come to us here. But looking into tonight around 8 o'clock, it's going to be 45 degrees here in Tallahassee. And as we move into tomorrow morning, around 6 o'clock, it's going to be 53. And moving on into tomorrow afternoon, when we see that cold front that's going to come by, those temperatures, look at that. Defining boundary of where this cold front is going to be around 3 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. So once that cold front comes through, we're going to see these temperatures drop. And they're going to drop down to about 30 degrees around tomorrow morning, Saturday morning around 8 a.m. But for tonight, it's going to be 53 tonight here, 70% chance of rain. So if you're going to go out and about and enjoy your night a little bit, maybe if you want to, just make sure you have that umbrella. You never know when you're going to need it around here. But for tomorrow, it's going to be 64, cloudy with high chances of rain. And like I said, please in the morning, make sure you stay tuned to the radio, to your phone, anything that can give you updates as to what's going on in the weather, because we do have a chance of severe weather. And folks, you never know when it's going to strike, and if it does strike, the chances are that it's not going to be pretty. So please be careful. But the winds are going to be out of the southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And just a little recap for tomorrow: it's going to be rainy, thunderstorms. Saturday, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold again, down to the 30s again. So please have that jacket and make sure you just bundle up for the rest of the weekend. But as we zoom out further, we can see that once this cold front passes by, come Monday and Tuesday, the chances of rain go up. And since they go up, well, we're going to need our rain jackets again. But for right now, I'm going to pass it off to Matt.
Thank you, Andres. I appreciate that. It's a good forecast for Saturday and Sunday, a bit on the cold side, but really looks like things are going to be changing over the next few hours. We're going to broaden our view just a little bit to take a look at what's going on across the rest of the southeast, see where our temperatures are at, because really they're kind of all over the place. We have 70s all the way down in South Florida, and then as we move up, we get into the 50s here in Tallahassee, and then we warm up a little bit in New Orleans. That's out ahead of that front, so those temperatures tend to warm up just a little bit ahead of that cold front. Very vigorous storm system moving through. I'm going to be breaking all of that down, the severe weather potential, the snowfall potential throughout the show. There's a lot of weather going on, so buckle up, folks. We've got about 25 minutes left. It's going to be a busy show. Let's look at the 24-hour temperature change right now. So this is where we felt like, compared to 24 hours yesterday, this time yesterday, we're 2 degrees above where we were yesterday. A little bit warmer, not really much to speak about, but where I want to point out is look at Shreveport. That's behind the cold front. That's 12 degrees below. So as those temperatures begin to tumble behind the front, that's where we're going to see that big temperature change. And the wind speeds can match that as well. Of course, down the peninsula, we got those sea breeze wind speeds up at 12 miles per hour, Miami and Key West, identical. Then behind the front, things are picking up just a little bit as well. Now, the story is going to be this rain and cloud cover. It's going to be increasing over our area, including the chance for severe weather. But right now, we're not seeing much of anything. We saw a couple showers today, just a teaser of what we could possibly see. But we're going to lose the sun for the next about 12 hours or so. So don't worry about maybe not seeing the sun. It's going to be out in full force this weekend. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend. Great day to get outside and find the sun because it's going to be cold in the shade. Here it is. The front's right here. We got snowfall up in Arkansas, parts of Tennessee as well, into the Smoky Mountains. All of that coming down, that piece of energy really building up some steam as it moves across the United States. Here's our future cast. You can see where that low pressure system originates over Shreveport, bringing this snowfall, this front really powering through Tallahassee early tomorrow morning. This is 8 a.m. tomorrow. As this moves through just a little bit more, that powers through quickly, and the low pressure system really begins to take form and create a major headache for our folks in the Northeast. Let's take a look at the airport delays. Nothing to speak about, just a little bit of a congestion in Miami. Tonight's forecast, though, on the warm side from what we've been seeing. We've been seeing 40s and 30s, 52 tonight. That's going to be our last warm night for a couple days. And then into tomorrow, another gorgeous day after the rain passes, down the peninsula a little bit more so. But once that passes, we'll be good to go. But now we're going to pass it over to Alyssa to give us a little bit more about the winter weather situation and more in our
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of rain here in Tallahassee, and it looks like the East Coast isn't going to be lighting up either. They're going to be seeing some winter storms coming through, and it's going to be pretty severe. There's actually been a state of emergency set for Washington, Virginia, and Maryland. There's going to be so much snow there that they're going to be measuring it in feet rather than inches. They could be getting up to 2 feet of snow. So most of the snow is going to begin in the mid-Atlantic region, and that will be starting early Friday, moving into New York City on Saturday. New York City could be getting up to 8 to 12 inches of snow. So there's going to be a lot of snowfall happening. Now the storm's going to continue moving to the East Coast, and they're going to be having some severe flooding and really strong winds. We could be seeing up to 25 to 35 miles per hour winds and gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So it's going to be a pretty severe one, not really letting up too much, and this is going into Saturday. Now, if you want to track this storm, Google has actually updated their Android device with a more manageable weather app. It's going to be more detailed, so if you ask them what's the weather going to be like, they're going to give more detailed charts and analysis of what the weather would be. They give a 10-day forecast as well as hourly updates as well, instead of just telling you what the current weather is. So if you want to stay safe and keep track of those storms, whether you're on the East Coast or around Florida with the rain, be checking updates on your phone of whether you want to bring an umbrella and just how to prepare for this weather we'll be having. Now we're going to be taking it back to Matt to talk about more about what's going on in Florida, with Shane about more of our local weather.
Thanks, Alyssa. We're talking about 58 degrees right now, mostly cloudy in Tallahassee. We're not reporting any rain at the airport right now, but there could be some rain on campus, so keep those umbrellas handy. Humidity all the way up at 93% guarantees that the atmosphere is very moist right now, and rain is almost a certainty over the next few hours. Once again, 58 in Tallahassee, 55 in South Georgia and Bainbridge and Thomasville. A little warmer at the coast, though, Carabel coming in at 60 degrees. As for the radar across the whole region, we've got lots of spotty rain that is letting up finally. Across Leon County and Jefferson County, it's looking pretty clear. Just a few showers off to our northwest, a little bit past Quincy near Mariana. Now we're going to expand our gaze and look ahead into the future, because this big cold front there draped across the Louisiana region, just entering the New Orleans region, that is going to be the big game changer for the weather over the next few days. We're going to see this squall line develop a very solid band of heavy rain moving across the region through the early morning hours tomorrow, early and late tonight as well. And then as we wake up for classes in the morning tomorrow, we could have some thunder knocking on our door as our alarm clock coming in from Mother Nature. But then that's going to push on out of our region. Let me step out of the way so you can see it. We've got colder air in store over the weekend. So cold we might be talking about some frozen precip in the southeast. More on that during tomorrow's show, but just know you're going to need the winter weather gear as we get into the weekend. And it's going to be high and dry. So in addition to those heavy jackets, maybe a pair of sunglasses would be in order as well. Similar conditions will persist into Sunday with a bit of warming next week. But for now, let's talk about tonight in Tallahassee. 53 degrees is the forecast low, and you can see similar conditions across the whole region. 54 in St. Mark's, 51 in Monticello, 54 in Bainbridge. 70% chance of rain across the whole region. We've got winds out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Similar winds tomorrow morning as we come in at a 90% chance of rain. If we were sure of the rain today, we're even more sure about the rain tomorrow as we climb to a high of only 64 degrees, 63 in Monticello, 62 in Thomasville. So we're talking low to mid 60s across the whole region. Let's give you a quick breakdown of tomorrow. We're talking about some rain, especially in the morning as we wake up to 57 degrees, climbing to 59 by your afternoon commute. And as for the 5 days ahead, we've got, again, a lot of rain tomorrow, a high of 64 degrees. And then check that out. On Saturday, a high of only 49 degrees, coming in just below the freezing mark. Sunny conditions hold on into early next week, warming back up into the mid to upper 60s. Now, here's Matt with a talk about the severe weather.
Thank you, Shane. We've got a lot going on here, so I've taken the jacket off and we're rolling up the sleeves because we've got a lot to talk about. So everyone bear with us. This is going to be a very busy national. In 3 minutes, we're going to go over the winter storm as well as our severe weather here in Tallahassee. Current conditions across this entire country. 58 here in Tallahassee. You can really see where that cold air is starting to pour in to the country. And associated with that cold air, that warm air, meeting that cold air, you're going to get quite a bit of a storm system. And that's all originating down here near the Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas borders. That's going to be creating quite a bit of headache. Let's look at the big picture real quick. Here it is, spinning around here. This might break some records over the next couple of days, especially with snowfall totals up in the D.C. area and the Northeast Corridor. Even out parts of Kansas City getting in on some weather as well, parts of Kansas, Missouri, and even look at Seattle. We'll get there in just a second talking about the weather there. Now, storms are beginning to make their presence known, especially near the Louisiana area. We saw a tornado warning in parts of Texas, Louisiana. We've got a tornado watch up right now, and that's going to start making its slow march to the east. Going to lose a little bit of energy as it does move east, but not in terms of snowfall. We'll get to that in just a minute. Way up in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest, though, it's raining in Seattle. I haven't picked on them all year long, but we're going to do it now. Seattle getting in on the rain action. Even parts of California who do need it desperately, they're getting in on that rain as well. So now we're breaking it down. Look at this. It looks like a color Picasso painting here of watches and warnings. I've got my list here to break it all down. We're going to break down the important ones here, the biggest ones. We're talking about the pink, which does indicate the winter storm warning is in effect. That's for nearly 8 states across the United States. This is going to be a big storm, going to be a bad one in terms of snowfall. So if you are ready, prepared in parts of the Northeast, you will be able to get through this one nicely. We're also talking about blizzard warnings in parts of the Delaware, Maryland area here in the lime green color, and then winter weather advisories surrounding this in the blue or in the purplish looking color. Of course, we've got some aerial flood advisories, some freezing rain advisories as well in parts farther south where they're not going to quite reach that really that cold temperature needed for the snowfall. Parts of the southeast here, we do have a flood warning for the Apalachicola River, not a big deal right now. You can see that tornado watch box out to our west. Here's the severe weather potential for our area. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. We've got a slight risk of severe weather here. We're only calling for just a small percentage of tornadoes, possibly an isolated tornado. Really, the wind could be the main threat here. There's just not enough energy in the atmosphere this time of year to really enhance those storm systems. But there is the chance. That's why we have it here in yellow. Of course, our surrounding communities, not so much as well. Now, we're going to break this down real quick here. We've got the severe weather potential, the warm air coming in, the low pressure attached to the cold front to the west, start marching in as well. And that's going to be marching towards our area and really causing quite a bit of a headache in parts of the region. Our forecast for tonight looks like this. Going to be a cool one, comfortable one, and then tomorrow things are going to start to cool down quite a bit for the remainder of the day, as well as the clouds coming through. But Andres, I'm sorry I took away from your time. That's so much to talk about. We're going to send it to you.
That is okay, Matt. But now that Matt has touched up on the severe weather that we're expecting tomorrow, slight risk of severe weather, as I can see right here that it's going to be anywhere from Tallahassee all the way up until the mid part of Georgia. We need to talk about severe weather safety. So first of all, if you're outside, please get in. Get indoors as soon as possible, because you never know where the severe weather is going to be affected, especially if it's a tornado. And also, once you're inside, please go to the very center of the house or building and make sure you cover up. Try to get any blankets, any pillows or anything like that, because you never want to get hit by flying debris. Flying debris is what kills the most in situations like this. So please, folks, please be safe when you go out there. Also, make sure you have a tornado safety kit. Flashlights, a weather radio, anything that your cell phone, make sure your cell phone has enough battery, because your cell phone is definitely it should be your first line of defense, because you can get any information from your cell phone. Social media, the National Weather Service app, anything like that can definitely help out. Also, make sure you have some fresh fruit and water. Fresh fruit and water is definitely a must, because you never know how long you're going to be without electricity. And also, the food that you would have in your refrigerator will spoil if you're without power. So please make sure you have fresh fruit and water. You never know how long it's going to take for help to get to you. And make sure you have shoes and identification card. And why do I say shoes? Well, because there's probably going to be glass and debris all over the ground. You don't want to step on that and risk the chance of getting injured that way. So please, even though it's a slight risk, please make sure you pay attention tomorrow. But for right now, we're going to pass it on to Alyssa for a look around in Florida.
Thank you, Andres. Yes, we're going to be looking more at Florida right now, how our weather has been treating us. Now in Tallahassee, we are looking at 58 degrees, and you can see down in the south and southern Miami, we are looking at warmer temperatures. Miami is looking at 70 degrees, so there is quite a bit of a jump from North Florida to South Florida, even to Central Florida. You can really see that divide across of Florida. Now we have these storm systems coming in over Tallahassee. We've seen it develop from Thursday morning into the evening. We're going to continue to see these storms and the rain showers continue to fall throughout tomorrow morning. So make sure you're prepared for that weather and have an umbrella at hand, maybe a poncho. You want to be careful on those slippery roads. And in South Florida, we also have this cloud cover covering over a lot of the region. So it is going to be feeling cooler down there. And being very consistent to what we have been seeing today. Now, our 24-hour temperature change isn't too much. We are looking at 2 degrees change in Tallahassee, and it's Tampa, it is a pretty big jump with 7 degrees, and Jacksonville, we're looking at an 8-degree jump. But again, consistent temperatures pretty much between today and tomorrow. So across Florida, we are looking at consistent temperatures. Now, our dew point is following up on these consistent temperatures. We're looking at a dew point of 56 in Tallahassee. So although it is wet and rainy, this is telling us that there is a lot of moisture in the air. However, it will still not be, it's not going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be a little mild out there, and it won't be too muggy, but we'll still be having those rain chances. Same is in South Florida. You can see that our dew point temperatures are pretty consistent throughout the whole region, not much variation. So we will be seeing rain, but still not too uncomfortable out there. And this is going to be, our winds are going to be fairly mild as well. We're looking at 5 miles per hour in Tallahassee, but down there in Miami, we're looking at 12 miles per hour. So it is a pretty big jump from North Florida again to South Florida. We do keep seeing that divide. We see this pattern happening. Now, North Florida is seeing a lot of rain coming in. South Florida, they're seeing some cloudy weather, but no chances of rain quite yet. So we will be having a lot of moisture in Tallahassee, Pensacola, Jacksonville not much. It will be dying out by then. So we will be seeing our chances here increase our rain chances throughout Friday morning and into the afternoon. You'll see that the storm system is moving down South Florida, and rain chances are continuing to increase across the region. And this is through Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening as well. Now tonight, 52 degrees, pretty consistent to today, and Friday we'll be seeing storm chances as well, pretty consistent temperatures. Saturday, 52, again like we saw today, but if we're going to look more at, if you find this weather interesting, you may want to look up AMS, and we're going to be talking more about that with Matt at the desk.
Thank you, Alyssa. We're going to recap real quick here the American Meteorological Society 2016 annual meeting from New Orleans. And we went to New Orleans. All the FSU weather crew and talent and everybody packed up shop and headed on down to the magical city of New Orleans. Now, we spent a few days there, and we wanted to recap just a little bit what we did and what exactly we are. Now, the American Meteorological Society is an organization of meteorologists and enthusiasts all coming together to share new scientific discoveries in the field of meteorology, as well as much more, including broadcasting and how we can create a more weather-ready nation out there for everyone else. So, a little bit of recap here. It was a record-setting crowd with nearly 4,000 people all flocking to New Orleans, 4,000 meteorologists. So, there was no shortage of a forecast in New Orleans for the 5 days that we were there. Now, with 4,000 attendance, we were also trending on Twitter, #3 worldwide for 3 days straight. Now, that was pretty cool to be a part of, using the hashtag AMS2016. We're going to be changing that around to AMS 2016 to gear up for Seattle. That'll be the next location. But New Orleans life was great. It treated us well, and we learned a lot here as well to bring back to the studio. We also learned a lot about Katrina, what Hurricane Katrina did do to the city. We learned what we could possibly do to make a more aware Florida public. We do live in a hurricane-prone area, and we haven't had one in nearly 10 years, so we did learn quite a bit from the stories and the horrors that Katrina did offer the city of New Orleans. But that is AMS 2016. We're thrilled to get out to AMS 2017, but right now we're thrilled to get it out to Margaret, who's going to show us one more local.
Thanks, Matt. Sounds like you all had a great time at the conference. I wish I could have gone, but things just didn't work out with classes. Around Tallahassee today, we got up to a high of 60 degrees. It was relatively pleasant, a little bit cool if you're in the shade, and it was windy, but overall not too bad. Our low this morning was 38, which is a fair bit warmer than it has been the last couple of days, hovering right around freezing, and significantly warmer than it was back in 1985 when we made it all the way down to 6 degrees. Currently around the area, 58 here in Tallahassee, Valdosta as well. Similar temperatures for as far as you could drive within a couple hours. 64 in Panama City, 56 up in Dothan, 57 in Albany. And these blues up here, that cold front we've been talking about through the show, the cooler temperatures that are still to come. Satellite and radar, spotty showers that we've been seeing throughout the day. It's hit or miss depending on where you are at what time of the day. And the stronger rain up here, again, that's that cold front that we're going to be keeping an eye on tomorrow, as it could be bringing us some more severe weather. Winds currently coming out of the east here in Tallahassee at 5 miles an hour. Stronger winds down at Panama City on the coast at 14 miles an hour coming off the water. But winds around the area ranging between marginal, Valdosta at 3 miles an hour, up to just moderate up at 8 and 9 miles an hour, places like Macon, Albany, Dothan, and Montgomery. Now, looking ahead to the next couple days, we do have this cold front here currently sitting out over New Orleans, where our friends were just at the conference last week, the rest of Louisiana, and the cold front and associated low pressure system are going to be making their way here, and they're going to generate thunderstorms over the next 24 hours or so, looking at Friday around noon. As that rolls through, keep an eye out for any severe weather. It's hard to predict exactly what's going to happen, so keep an eye on your phone, your computer, whatever means you can to keep an eye on the weather. Make sure that you don't get caught off guard by any severe weather risks. Looking at the water tomorrow, not the best day to go out on the water. Winds coming out of the west at 20 to 25 miles an hour and surf at 4 to 6 feet. So it is not the day to be going out on the water. Maybe find something else to do unless you absolutely have to be out there. Same goes with the boats. Winds 20 to 25 knots, the waves 4 to 6 feet. It's going to be choppy. Showers are likely. It's just not a really good day to get out on the water. Tonight here in Tallahassee, 53 degrees with a 70% chance of rain. Get your umbrellas out, get a raincoat, rain boots, whatever you can to stay dry, because it's going to be a wet one. Looking at tomorrow, 64 degrees with a 90% chance of rain. So if you pulled out your umbrella and raincoat for tonight, keep them around. And looking at the week ahead, we see that rain tomorrow, but then we clear out for a beautiful, cool weekend over Saturday and Sunday with highs 49 on Saturday and a bit warmer on Sunday.
Thanks, Margaret. I sure am looking forward to those cooler temperatures and clear skies over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting outside and enjoying the sunshine.
Absolutely, but before we get there, we should talk once more about what accessories are going to be needed as we move into the early morning hours tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow you're going to want rain boots, raincoats, umbrellas, anything you can to stay dry.
Yes, and then after that, warm coats if you're going to be out and about Saturday morning, and then some sunglasses. Look at that, clear and sunny for Sunday.
Yeah, should be a great weekend as long as you're well dressed.
Yes, and as always, you can follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You can also even check out our Instagram, or of course, watch us anytime at livestream.com/FSU Weather.
It's been a great evening, and looking forward to enjoying the weekend with those beautiful skies.
Absolutely. Signing off from FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
I'm student meteorologist Margaret Hollis.
Have a wonderful evening and stay safe tomorrow.